of opportunities for hunting. The lesson which we are going to take, there is predations. In predation we take predators and prey relationship. The second point which we are going to take in this, that is herbivory relationship, right? Herbivory plant relationship, the second point. So predation we take, and next point we are supposed to take. What is herbivory plant relationship? Who can tell me? Herbivory plant relationship. Herbivory plant relationship. The second point which we have. Just a minute. You understand now. This point we are supposed to study, right? The herbivory plant relationship. What is the relationship between herbivores and plants? Herbivore and plants. What is herbivore and what is plants? You were not here before. You. Huh? So he was not. So why you're not coming before? Today I see you on the first time. Yeah. Yeah. What is your name? Turkey. Yes, I saw your name in the list, but maybe I didn't notice you in the class. Okay, so the point which we are going to study, that is the second point of the predators and prey relationship. Predation, herbivory, and keystone species. Herbivores, plants in relationship. Herbivores are what? Herbivores are those organisms which are eating only plants. Those organisms which are eating only plants, like goat, sheep, buffalo, camel. These things, they are eating only plants, or the products of only plants, simple. So they are called what? They are called herbivores. So what is the relationship between herbivores and plants? Right? Plants, herbivores are dependent on what? Herbivores are dependent on the plants. The population of the plant depends on the population of the herbivores. If there are more herbivores, so mean that the plants in an area will be less, because they will eat it, right? But they required it in a more quantity. Interaction between herbivores and plants, like the one shown in the figure 4 to 8, you will see on the next slide, right? I showed you here this one, right? This you can see. Here's my cursor. This one. Yes. This is herbivores, and it's eating plant. It's eating plant, right? Right. Okay. And this figure are so important as the interaction between predator and prey. Predator and prey. Predator is the hunter, right? The organism which are going to hunt another organism. An interaction in which one animal, the herbivores, plant-eating animals, feed on the producer. Herbivore is the organism, the animals which are going to eat plants, right? And producer feeds on the producer, mean eat plants. Producer is what? Producer or plants. Plants are producers, such as plant. That is called herbivory. And this relationship in which the animals eat plants, right? The animals eat plant. This relationship, animals comes and it eat green plant. This relationship is called what? Sorry. So we are just.
Herbivores can affect both the size and
distribution
of plant
population
in our community, and determine places that plants can survive and grow.
If you look here in the herbivory, how they are going to affect both the size and distribution of the plants. Herbivory are the animals which are going to eat the plants. So how they are going to affect their population and mean the distribution and size? Mean population, right? The number. Like let's suppose you have a garden, right? A large garden, which let's suppose 100 100 meter, 100 square meter, right? So it's very large. But you have one buffalo, or you have one cow, or you have one goat. So mean that the grasses which is present in that your garden, that is good enough for that. But if you increase the number of goats or buffalo from 1 to 5, so then the food, the grasses which are there, it will be, the population of the grasses will reduce, the size will reduce because they will eat it more, right? So it will reduce. So in that way, it can affect what? In that way, the herbivores can affect the size and distribution of the plant population. In a community, that determine the place that contain that certain plants can survive and grow. Herbivores range from caterpillar to elk can have a major effect on the plant survival. If you take herbivores, so herbivores can be a small animals like caterpillar, right, or insect like worm, right, and it can be a large organism like elephant, right. So a lot of organism it can range, right, from a caterpillar to elk, or you can say to any other organism. For example, very dense population of white-tailed deer are eliminating their favorite food plants from many places across the United States. If you take the example of the white deer, the white-tailed deer. So the white-tailed deer, they were eating a specific type of plants, right? And it's their favorite food. So if it was their favorite food, so they almost finished all that plant, right? So mean that their favorite food were no more than there in the United States. They finish it because all the time they were not eating any other thing. They were just eating that plant. So that plant was reduced.
Eat a plant that have what is it? It's a film invisible.
Sorry?
I don't know the.
Where is present? On the plant?
Yeah.
The jelly-like substance you are saying?
The herbivore eat a plant.
It depends, right? Like as you, the toxin which the plant are produced, right? We know our toxin, right? So there are certain plant which can produce poisonous substance. Poisonous substance. For which reason? For this reason, that plant, the animals, herbivores are not going to eat them, right? They are going to protect themselves. So certain plants are there which are having bad taste, which are poisonous. So then the plants are not going to eat it, right? They are avoiding it. If in any chance they eat, so then they will face some problems. Like for example, if you look to the plant which have the spines, right? So the spine plant, it cannot be eaten by the animals, right? So it remains there. Okay, the next point we have its keystone species. A keystone species is a single species that is vital to the ecosystem, right? A keystone species is that species which are what? Which are vital to the ecosystem, right? Sometimes changes in the population of a single species, often called keystone species, can cause a dramatic change in the structure of a community, right? So sometimes we are having some keystone species, right? Some major species, like for example, you have a lion, right? Tiger. So they are very rare in number, very less in number, right? But they have a very major impacts on the population. In the cool water of the Pacific coast of North America, for example, sea otters devour large quantities of sea urchin. Urchins in turns are herbivores, right? If you look to the example of the urchins, so they are going to eat what? Sea otters. Their favorite food is kelp, gained algae that grow in under sea forest. So if you look to these animals like urchin, right? So their favorite food are what? Their favorite food are kelp, which is a gant algae, right? Which we say gant algae. So their favorite food are gant algae, but they are very the algae are very too much in number. But the herbivores which are going to eat it are few in number. So if they're few in number, if they died, right? So we know that algae can grow very quickly, right? Algae can occupy little space. If there is no organism to eat it, so it can occupy this place very quickly, right? And we are saying that then it is dangerous, right? Because then in that area no fish will be there, right? No marine life will be there. So if the keystone species which are going to feed on the kelp Gantt algae. So then, if they died, so then that algae will spread too much fast, so that population will rise too much. But if the keystone species are there, so it will be in a narrow range. The next point which we are going to discuss there is about what? That is about symbiosis. Do you know anything about symbiosis?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The symbiosis will live in the ocean. Will live in the ocean.
Symbiosis when two organisms are living together, right? Two organisms are living together. Either they are going to harm one another, or either they are going to benefit one another, right? No.
Living with each other.
Not in that sense. Just look here, you will understand later on, right? What are the three primary ways that organism depends on each other, right? So the ways in which organisms are going to live together or they are going to depend on each other, right? So we divide symbiosis into three categories, right? Into three categories. Any relationship in which two species live closely together is called symbiosis, right? Means living together. So when organisms are living together, right, this is called symbiosis. This symbiosis is divided by the biologists into three categories, right? Biologists recognize three main classes of symbiotic relationship in a nature: mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism. Three types we have, right? Mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism. So these are the three main types in which the symbiosis is divided. Okay, so it is divided into how many categories? Into three categories. The first one we have mutualism, right? Or we can say, yes, mutualism or mutualism, right? The first one we have mutualism, a relationship between two species in which both species benefit. Mutualism is a relationship of the plants in which both the species are going to get benefit from each other. That is called what? That is called mutualism. What is mutualism? That group or that symbiosis in which both the species are going to get benefit from each other. Like the example which is given in your book, that is the sea animals sitting has two functions: to capture prey and to protect the animals from the predators. Even so, carries. Now, beside this, I will give you another example of symbiosis in the case of mutualism, right? If you look to the plants, right, in the roots of the plants, there are what? In the roots of the plants, there are some bacteria, right? Especially in the legume plants, leguminous plants or legume plants. So this plant, two organisms are living together, right? Between the bacteria and the plants, right? So this is a mutualism, right? In which both the organisms are getting benefit from each other. The bacteria is getting food from the plant roots, right? In return, what the plants get from the bacteria? The plants get from the bacteria take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into nitrate and ammonia, because the plants cannot use the atmospheric nitrogen directly, right? So it needed in nitrate form or ammonia form. So it is converted by the nitrifying bacteria to the useful form.
Yes.
Then the plant converts.
Means
two organisms living together.
Yeah.
It's called symbiosis. Another example for the mutualism is about human, right? If you look to the human, we are eating fruits, we are eating vegetables, right? But if you are going to eat fruits and if you are going to eat vegetables, so our body, it contains fibers, right? And our body cannot digest fibers. We cannot digest, our digestive system cannot digest fibers. So now we have some beneficial bacteria in our intestine, right? Beneficial bacteria in our intestine, and that beneficial bacteria digest fiber for our body, for human body, right? We have beneficial bacteria in the intestine, which do what? Which do the digestion of fibers, and return our body give food to their bacteria. Another example is in termites. The same termites are those organisms which are eating wood, right? Wood. So when they are going to eat wood, so in wood there are they cannot, the digestive system cannot digest their wood directly, right? So when there are certain type of bacteria that can release a specific type of enzyme. So when they release specific type of enzyme and it's mixed, it's taken by the digestive system of the termite, so then it can digest the wood, right? So it is living in the gut of termite, digestive system of termite, so it digests the wood for termite, and termite give food in return to that bacteria. Okay, so that is about mutualism. The next point which we are going to take, that is about what? That is about parasitism. Who can tell me about parasitism? Yes. What is parasitism?
One organism lives inside of another organism and is.
What does it mean?
It's animal lives with the animal.
Parasitism, it's a relationship between two organisms in which two organisms are living together, but what it is too dangerous, right? Because one organism is getting benefit and another organism is harmed. Like for example, the diseases, it comes from this way, right? Like for example, now we have a COVID virus, right? It's attack on the human. So it is a virus, right? It is living inside the human body, but it affects the human, right? So when two organisms are living together, but one is getting benefits and another is harmed, cause disease in another. So this is called parasitism, right? Parasite. This is called what? This is called parasite. A relationship in which one organism live inside or another organism and harm it. Their relationship in which two organisms are living together, but one is getting benefits, but another is getting harm. Like in case of the COVID virus, you can see, right? In case of many bacterial infection, viral infection, fungal infections, right? Microbial infections in a human. So that is what? That is parasitism, right? It's caused a lot of disease. And even parasitism occurs in plants, in other animals, right? The example which you can see this one on diagram, this is leech, right? So leech, it sucks the blood of the animals, right? So when it just touch the surface of any animals or human, so it take blood from the animal. Blood. The next one we have, the last point, we have commensalism. Commensalism is the last point. A relationship in which one organism benefit and other is neither helped nor harmed. When two organisms are living together, but one organism is getting benefit, but the other is not going to be harmed. What do you say? Faida? Fawaid? What? Benefit. Benefits, right?
Yeah.
So a relationship in which one organism benefits and the other organism is neither helped nor harmed. This is called what? This is called commensalism, right? When two organisms are living together, but none of them, one of them is going to be to get benefits and another are not going to be benefited. Example you have of what? Example you have of the smaller marine animals called branchials are often attached themselves to a whale skin. So they are living where? They are living on the whale skin. You can see in the diagram, right? These are the small organisms which are attached on the whale skins. So Now the branches perform to no service that the whales, now do they harm it. So these branchlets, they are not going to harm the whales, but they are going to take benefits from the whale. In which way? Yet the branchlets benefit from the constant movement of the water. That is full of the food particles. So if the whale is moving, so they are moving along with the whales, right? So if they are moving along with the whales, means they will be getting benefit in terms of what? In terms of getting food from water, right? So there is, but the whale is not going to harm, right, at any cost. They were just these things, these organisms will get food, they will get movement. Now here you have a short activity, right? What you have to do, you have to just connect which statement is correct, right? So Keystone, which statement? A single species vital to ecosystem stability, right? Keystone, it will be to this one, right? Next we have parasitism. Two species can occupy exactly, no, the ability to survive and this one. Species this one between member interaction in which one animal will feed on the predation. Huh? Yes, two. What is two? Two should be parasitism. One species benefit while other is going to harm, right? This one, third. Next one we have competition exclusion principle, right? No two species can occupy exactly the same niches and exactly in the same habitat and exactly the same time. This is what? This is competitive exclusion principle. Next one we have tolerance. Tolerance. The ability to survive and reproduce under a range of environmental conditions, right? And next one we have interspecific competition. Inter. Between a member of different species. That is correct, right? Between member of different species. But beside this, we have intraspecific. What does it mean? Intraspecific competition. Do you know? Intraspecific competition. This is inter. Another type we have intraspecific. So what is intraspecific competition? Who can tell me? Yes. Intraspecific, if you look here, between the member of different species. So a competition between the member of different species. Intra mean between the member of the same species. That is intraspecific, right? The competition means the race for winning. Yes. Herbivory or what? Herbivory. So the last one is remaining. An interaction in which one animal's feed on the producer. That is called herbivory. Right? All the answers you can see here. So this is all about today's lesson. If you have any type of doubt, any type of questions, you can ask me now. Thank you.